I hate to break the fishing news up, Yaremchuk, but I'd like to speak about the ice hockey.
Congratulations, you're one of the 13 listeners of the Real Life Podcast.
We just traded a migraine in for like an orgasm.
Might want to mark that down, Yaremchuk.
Yep. All of my projects are on schedule until they're not.
A member of the Nation Network of Podcasts.
About as funny as we're going to get today.
Episode 197 of the Real Life Podcast. Welcome in. We got hockey to talk about. I'm fired up. I'll introduce you to our cast of characters in just a second here. But first, I got to let you know that we are sponsored by the fine folks at Japa Machinery. Check them out online, japamachinery.com. They got everything you need. 815s, Packers, asphalt rollers, excavators, and more. You can also give them a call, 780-962-5272. And now we bring in our cast of characters, which is wind-free. No wind on this podcast. Chalmers is here. The young man who runs the very popular meme page. It became popular. It got taken down because Instagram wanted to take everything down, and he came back stronger than ever. Young Kyler Memeamoto. How's it going, man?
What's up? I'm going good.
There we go. Audio quality good. Jay, you are at the Nation pop-up shop, and I saved your introduction for last because that's where we're going to start. You're giving the fine folks some Nation gear before we really get going here, eh?
Full disclosure, this is take 2 of the podcast, everyone. Mm-hmm. We fucking butchered the first take. Yep. There was a wind issue. There was connectivity issues. It was a fucking hot mess. Chalmers yelled at us all. I wish we actually recorded that portion so you could hear the passion for which Chalmers brings to the podcast. But yes, pop-up shop at Little Brick. We've got Nation gear, Mission 2020 gear. We're moving units. Sales guy, Jared. Rick, I guess, Nation Rick, Pint Rick, everything Rick, manning the table, moving the units. I think this is something we're going to do throughout the playoffs. It's been very well received. It's fun watching, coming out on the patio and seeing people in their newly acquired Nation gear. So pay attention, everyone. We'll be promoting when the next shop is, and we hope to see you. There.
Love it.
Promo done.
Love it. That is a great promo we just cut up right there. Okay, there's a lot for us to get to here. We got an exciting announcement about betting talk coming up on the show. I think I'm going to save that one for last. And what we're going to do, we're going to talk about our first look at the Edmonton Oilers. They played the Flames in that exhibition game. It was glorious. It was a ton of fun getting to watch the Oilers in their first game back. Memeamoto, you are the guest, so I will go to you first. What did you think about just like the overall presentation of these games? Like, I mean, I think the NHL did a fucking amazing job with the screens and everything going on there. It looks visually appealing.
Yeah, I mean, it looks amazing. They definitely have to work on some of the sound, I think. Like, maybe turn up the fan volume, you know, and you can tell, like, the goal horns when the goals are scored, they're kind of terrible quality. But, I mean, I think that's probably the least of their concerns. But, yeah, I mean, when I first saw the simulation of, like, all the screens and everything, like the render, that looked amazing. I was so hyped.
Chalmers, we talked about this a little bit on the last podcast when we saw the images. Did you watch the game, Oilers Flames?
I did. So I was on a job site at 6 o'clock, and I was like, all I wanted to do was see the beginning of things. And I actually tuned in on my laptop or on my iPad the moment that Ron McLean came on, and it was super weird feeling because I got like weirdly emotional because he went right into the Eddie Shack thing, and then it showed the beginning of the, it panned around the arena, showed all the Maple Leafs and the Canadiens standing, you know, one by one on the blue lines, and then the anthems played. And all I could think about was how normal it felt for me and how odd it must feel for the players standing there. They're hearing the national anthems and they're hearing the announcers, and they're kind of in this own little bubble of theirs. And it just must have felt fucking lonely. Like, that's how I would have felt. I would have felt lonely. But to me, I did get, like, weirdly, like, choked up just watching that first thing. And then, drop of the puck happened. I thought the stands looked great. I thought, like, the way that they presented all the screens and the way that the shots were. And then Toronto scores the first goal, and you slightly hear the fans. I know what you're talking about, Memeamoto. The buzzer was a little fuzzy, but it felt so good. It felt weirdly fucking normal. And then I had to remind myself that it was July and this was anything but normal. But so then I tuned out of that game, and then I got home and I kept my boys up. I said, tonight is hockey night, boys. We're going to sit here and we're going to watch hockey. and kind of same exact presentation to go into the Oilers-Flames game as was for the Canadiens and the Maple Leafs game, and I got like weirdly choked up again. I don't know what it was, but it was just like, I said to the boys, I'm like, you're not going to feel this again. Like, we had this taken away from us. We're in the middle of July. We're getting it back. This is kind of a big deal. And it felt like that. I don't know if I'm the only one that felt that way, but it was overwhelming. It was a weird feeling.
Yeah, I totally get what you're saying there. Like, it felt normal again. Like, it almost felt like when the game was on, you blocked everything else out. Like, you could just focus on hockey for 2.5 hours. Jay, did you cry when the game started?
Cry. I got choked up. Don't fuck around. I didn't cry. Choked up.
Oh yeah, well, the whole. But like, who's not gonna feel it on the get hit in the feels with that opening presentation for Colby Cave? So like, we're all fucking human here. So of course, and I will rarely say this, but the Oilers did a first class job with the whole Colby Cave thing. They did it with also with the Colby Cave scrimmage. Top marks for that. And also the NHL, in my opinion, is nailing it. Yes, there's always going to be little tweaks and improvements, and yes, they got to work with the crowd noise and stuff. But I think they'll level all that stuff up for playoffs. Like the exhibition games is kind of like the laboratory where they're kind of trying to find the secret sauce or the secret formula. But optically, when you're watching those games, like you're just like the whole thing going in is like, oh shit, it's going to be so weird watching this in an empty building. Like watching baseball is weird, but the way they've set up those arenas, like I was locked right into the play. Like the minute the puck dropped, I was in. I wasn't feeling this eerie feeling that watching people play in an empty building I thought would produce, because they've done a good job. From a production standpoint, and also with the new camera angles and all that stuff, I was thoroughly impressed.
Memeamoto, do you think that the fact that there was no crowd there made it harder for the players to get into the game, or did you think that, like, because of the fact that it was just hockey again and it was an exhibition game and they knew that playoffs were literally starting in 3 days, that it didn't matter to them? Because I don't really have an opinion either way, so I'm wondering if any of you guys do.
It's hard to say, honestly, because I mean, in the Oilers Flames game, it definitely looked at the very least like a regular season game. And I mean, maybe the NHL planned that because they knew that if it was a bunch of rivalries on the same day, they would probably play up the standard with what they were playing with all year. So as soon as Cassian got that hit off on I think it was Gustafsson, the game just ramped up like that. And I mean, Memeamoto scored like a minute in, so obviously they were pretty ready to go. But some of the other games, like Chicago and the Blues, I fell asleep. They were obviously not trying.
Do your DMs blow up every single time Kailer Yamamoto scores a goal?
Every single time. I love it. I like as soon as he even touches the ice, it's like 10 follow requests.
That's hilarious. Yeah, but you're right. I think they might have done that on purpose and scheduled in the rivalry games to really try to see if they can get the atmosphere picked up. Big hits, some scrums and all that. But when they scored, the analogy I used today on the air was when they score, it's the same reaction that happens when you score in the 10 p.m. beer league game. Like whoa, what is going on right now?
Sorry, just walking through to go to a quieter place.
But, right, like, they smile, they maybe let out a little fuck yeah, a few fist bumps, and it's kind of back to the bench. I'll be interested to see what the next level is. Like, will we ever get a point where guys are going nuts when they score? Are we going to get those passionate playoff celebrations?
Hell yeah.
You think we are?
Dude,
this is playoffs.
This is playoffs now. Like, I think that first game was a real nice moment for those guys to just get used to the fact that there is no fans. Now, I know they're not going to hear crowd noise, but yeah, I believe they're going to be fucking jacked. The crowd noise, like, I don't know if this is a stupid question. They don't hear that in the stands, right? Like, are they pumping in any type of noise in there?
Zero.
It's absolutely quiet. God. So that would, I wonder if they are all used to it now after just one game, or if it's going to be fucking odd every game.
I think it'll take a while.
No, they'll get locked in. There's moments in those playoff games that, like, if you're so in the zone, you don't hear anything. So, like, I think they're just going to get locked into the moment of playoffs. Maybe it might take a game or two to like really ramp up, but I think like everyone knows what they're competing for. It's still the Stanley Cup, so I think that emotion is going to show.
I'm so proud of the NHL and like everything that they've done, because we're at Thursday. You know, it's been about a week, or I don't know how many days, 10 days since they've, and like in the PGA they had positive tests the next 7 days after their first event. Baseball, it's been a complete fucking nightmare. Obviously, we all know that. The NHL, like, I'm really curious to see, and I will reiterate this on Monday if we continue to see exactly what we've seen. But they're doing it right, and I'm proud of them because they're the first ones to do it right. And it shows. It's a great look for us. I swear, I love it.
The association had its issues early. You had players, tweeting out or posting pictures of like the shitty food they were getting in the hotel rooms. You've had guys going out to Magic City. We talked about that, obviously. The NHL hasn't had, to my knowledge, a negative storyline from inside the bubble. Like
it looked good.
Yeah, Frank Saravalli today, said he's had a few messages of guys being like, "Oh, the food at the buffet looked shitty," or the AC stopped working for a few hours.
Oh yeah, the AC.
Take a couple trips to the old.
That's a bad look on Sutton Place to have their AC crap out when it did. But like that's just an hottest day of the year. Yeah, exactly.
So there haven't been any issues. So I do think the NHL deserves a ton of credit for pulling this off. Like it's been great.
If I had $1 for every time a furnace or an air conditioner broke down at the exact worst possible time, I'd be doing this podcast for fun all day long, every day, because that shit happens Christmas Eve. Of course, something was bound to happen. That is minor.
Are you surprised they didn't invite you in the bubble to fix things like that?
Why wouldn't they have? They need handyman like me. I wonder what they would have been paying. Just run around and fix people's shit. Probably be a lot busier than you think.
Yeah. I wonder, I bet the hotel maintenance staff, it's a mask and all that, but like, I don't know if I talked about this on the podcast yet. I have a family member who works for the NHL. He does he'll be in the penalty box some games. He'll be up top keeping stats and shit. When the NHL went to go get employees for this to do that kind of stuff, because you still have to do it, they didn't give them the option of you can come for 2 weeks or 3 weeks or a month. They were like, if you are coming, you need to commit to the full 70 some days, which is insane to me. Anyways,
that's pretty weird that they went. Well, you know what? That's you're introducing new problems if you halfway through the whole thing you allow everybody to leave and new to come in. You're just risking it. I think
only people can leave the bubble. Now that the bubble's formed, you can only leave. You cannot enter.
I'm not sure if I would do that for all 70 days. I'm not sure.
That's
if you do it, you're a hero.
Yeah,
it could be an experience.
Yeah.
Everyone who's doing it, players included, are heroes right now because they're restoring something that is so important to so many. And
sorry.
No, and they're actually doing a good job with it.
Yeah.
Our favorite show, Big Brother, starts on Wednesday. And how many days is Big Brother if you have to win it? 90?
Yeah, 90.
90, yeah.
Is it confirmed starting on Wednesday?
That's what it said.
So, yeah.
I saw an advertisement for it this morning.
So much stimulation. So much programming to consume now. Memeamoto, are you a Big Brother guy, or do you even know what that is? Because
I'm aware of it. I don't really watch TV though, so
Memeamoto is so young that your Remchuck's old.
Well, yeah, actually, that's what I was gonna say. He's young and he knows what he's talking about. So me talking to him is kind of like you guys when you're talking to me, right?
Well, Memeamoto quietly is becoming the star and the boss of the show. I don't know if you're noticing this. He speaks with conviction and knows more than all of us.
And we got all the audio issues figured out.
Can I ask I need to ask a couple questions about the life of a meme account that was obviously how many followers did you have the day you lost your account?
Actually, I literally have a screenshot framed.
This is the one that's our audience.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure most of you. Actually, my dad's in the room right now. Yeah, it was 16.7K. So
16.7K.
That's pretty sweet. Okay.
So talk to me when you lost an account with over 70,000. Okay.
Yeah. No, I was feeling for you guys that day because we got deleted basically on the same day.
It was the same day. It was the same algorithm. We're fighting. Don't worry. We'll fight the fight for us.
as you said, he's young. Trust me, he'll probably have an account deleted at 100,000 in a year.
I'm guessing I will, honestly.
So so the new one is the better Kyler Memeamoto? What's the new meme account?
No, it's not Memeamoto. My friend made an account called Better Memeamoto, actually.
What a
You're
prick.
trying to
Who's
trick
this guy?
Instagram.
He's one of my close buddies. I knew him since like kindergarten.
Dude, you know how you made a difference is when I search Kyler Memeamoto, the first two things that come up is the Better Memeamoto, so somebody who copied you, a flagrant copycat site, and then something called the hell was it? It was Kyler Memeamoto Management. Their thing is not the real Kyler Memeamoto, just a fan trying to help.
Yep.
So
there's also one about my mom.
Oh,
what?
That's a little weird.
Yep. Yeah.
What's that one called?
So there are now parody.
You say that was such a
not Memeamoto exists from when my mom walked in on one of my live streams.
How old are you again? Are you 17 now?
Yeah, I'm 17.
Interesting. So when you are the kid in school who has the most, I'm assuming no one else in your school has an account with like 17,000 followers?
No.
So are you like the talk of the town? Are you the fucking sheriff around there?
Well, I mean, I try to stay humble. I mean, I'm not. It's not like there's people that like walk up to me in class and are like, "Yo, can I get your autograph?" Although it has happened once. I mean, it's a big deal, but it's not really at the same time. I mean, it's pretty cool to have that much influence, even if it's just on like Instagram or something, and you're just in high school.
Next question. When your friends come up to you, when people come up to you and they know that you have the meme account, do they present you with memes that they think are great that they would like you to use? Question one. Question two, has anybody ever tried to make you pay them to use one of theirs?
I love this. Question two, no.
Okay.
But question one, all the time. My friends come up to me and they make stuff on like Snapchat or whatever, and they're like, "Yo, you funny, dude?" I'm like, I mean, maybe, but the quality is pretty low, you know.
Okay, so what does a good Memeamoto meme have to have in it in order to pass the test and get put on your page? Or does it have to be made by you? Are you going to strictly only consist of your own self-made shit?
You know, I post some of my other friends' stuff if it's actually like I think it's funny. To be honest, I just post whatever I think is funny. A lot of people, you know, sometimes are like, "This post sucks." I mean, I don't care.
Yeah,
at this point, it's just like what I think is funny, right?
Who cares?
What's got followers.
Yeah, you're getting in your hack. Okay. So that's good. Those are my questions.
Okay. So we can move on and go back to talking about the Oilers on the ice against the Calgary Flames.
Was Chalmers fanboying there?
A little bit. Oh,
my God.
I keep getting calls.
Fanboying. I'm trying to get answers for the people, you fuck.
So the Oilers on the ice, really impressed with what they brought. I know they got like outplayed for like 30 minutes, but I don't think Connor McDavid tried harder than 70% at any of that hockey game.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not.
Which just got me more excited because I'm like, I know you're not trying, Connor, and you still look amazing. And then that look-off goal.
Yeah. He made Travis Hamonic look like a fool. And throughout training camp,
well, you're a fool thinking Travis.
Oh, fuck. Hanifin. Fucking Noah Hanifin. Jeez.
Noah Hanifin.
I did that on the air.
And your hockey knowledge is subpar.
I did that twice on the air, too, and I didn't catch myself either time. But yeah, he made Hanifin look like a fool. Gregor had the report during training camp of Connor McDavid might be on another level. And I'll start with you here, Memeamoto. After watching him through whatever he played, 17 minutes against the Flames, it's pretty easy to believe that he may have actually tapped into another level.
If that's his like 70 or even like 50%, his 100% might be like probably the best we've seen from him ever. Probably. And I mean, he scored that sick goal on the no-look shot in through the legs. That was absolutely amazing. But I mean, you're right when you say he was only at like 70% or so, because he wasn't really, you know, he was trying to lay it off because they were in the lead.
He didn't want to. He wanted to pass so bad. He was trying to.
Oh yeah.
He was pass first on everything.
He was forcing the passes there.
Yeah, he should have had 5 or 6 goals that game if he just took like half of his shooting opportunities.
The Flames defense didn't have their best day either.
No. Flames are in trouble.
I've said this on the podcast. I've said it a ton of times, and I always get fucking heat for it from people. I don't think the Flames defense is that good. They have big names, but like Giordano's getting up there in age. I know he's still a good defenseman. Like, I'm not trying to sit here and say they have a shitty blue line, but people like to hop out and be like, oh, the Flames defense is why they're going to beat Winnipeg. And it's not that great. Like, they have some nice pieces, but it's not some unstoppable force to me.
Yeah, no, defense usually doesn't win you series. And I mean, the Flames isn't really, like, it's better than average. I'll give it that. I think it's better than the Oilers in this case this year. But
even now,
that's definitely not that. If they win against Winnipeg, it's going to be because Gaudreau goes like absolutely insane.
Which he won't.
Yeah.
I hardly noticed him that game.
Exactly. And now imagine if he goes up against Hellebuck.
Exactly. Like,
yeah.
And Hellebuck on the
amazing
other side.
Goalie, and the other thing is Winnipeg has got a lot of meat on the bone, and Johnny's going to disappear,
just like last year.
Like last year. Like
Johnny.
Go Chalmers.
Well, Johnny had one flash. You remember how bad? Like, he was really bad last year. Yeah. I have to admit, but he had one little flash. I think it was in the second period where I was like, God, he was so good when he was good, but then he's so fucking bad right now.
Yeah, like he can be. Like, it's there. Maybe he's matured. And he's entered a new level. Like, I don't think having Lucic on the team is going to improve his play.
No.
They have an all-around unlikable team. From Sam Bennett to Tkachuk to Lucic. I mean, there's a lot of unlikable characters on that team.
Do you remember when the Flames picked Sam Bennett and Mark Spector tweeted, Connor McWho? The Flames fans are going to love this Bennett kid. And I like Mark Spector. I think he's good at what he does. But that tweet was like an all-time bad take.
Oh,
yeah. I want to talk a little bit more about the Oilers here. Like, one of the other things I noticed in that game, and it was evident on the Yamamoto goal, but like at the end of the year, Oscar Klefbom was not healthy. And now Oscar Klefbom should be 100%. There should be nothing holding him back. I actually think Klefbom might be one of the bigger X factors that's not being talked about with this Oilers team. Like, having him at 100% fully rested on this blue line is huge, because when he's healthy, I think when he's on his A game, I don't think I'm out of line saying he's a borderline top 10 D-man.
Top 10, I don't know about. I think he's top 20 for sure, and people don't believe me on my story when I say that, but like, he does things that a lot of people can't do. He is undoubtedly top pairing this year, when he's healthy, of course.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I think you're right. You're right in the sense that he could be an X factor, because he probably wasn't like he does battle getting banged up like every season. He was probably banged up in our last cup run or playoff run. So yeah, the fact that he could be an X factor, but also like Ethan Bear's an X factor. Like, we've got and whatever. I drink the kool-aid, and that is well documented. But there is 5 X factors on the Oilers roster right now. And that's why I think we've got a chance to do some damage.
Oh, yeah, easily.
Yeah, like, we've had Gene on Oilers Nation Radio. We had Wilkie on there as well. We had Jack Michaels on this one. Everyone seems to, there's such a high sense of belief around people who cover the team, and obviously the players on the team as well, and the fan base. Like, it feels like the beginning of something good. With that being said, Chicago is going to be a difficult team to put away. We'll get to that in a second. The last area when looking at that game, that exhibition game, there were little things throughout the game, like little feelings that I missed. I missed sitting on Twitter and tweeting out random nonsense. And because every other Oilers fan is on Twitter, like, in the middle of the game, you could literally tweet out like fucking goalpost, and it'll get like 90 likes within 2 minutes, because every Oilers fan is on Twitter.
Dude, okay, I got something to say about that.
Okay.
I'm sorry to interrupt you. So I, within the first 2 minutes, went on to Twitter and I posted a picture of Elliot Friedman's face, which is awesome. I think he looks amazing.
Hilarious.
I think it's fantastic. So I want to tell everybody that, because I figured I need to get on social media more. I fucking hate social media so much. I couldn't watch the game. Okay, all of a sudden, Electric Jordan hits me up and says, "You got to go on the Twitch live stream," and I'm like, "Sounds good. Let's check it out." Dude, I don't know how you guys do it. I cannot concentrate on Twitter, on Twitch, a live stream, and watch a hockey game. I was missing. I basically found myself not even watching a hockey game. How do you do it?
You got a parachute. I was trying to juggle it too, Chalmers, and I just decided I'm like, I am going in and out. In and out. I'm giving myself some dedicated time so I can watch hockey, because I was like you, I'm like, how the fuck am I just going to bounce between the apps and just rave in both and then still somehow watch all this? Like, for some people, it's a talent. They can pull it off. But, like, geez, unless I had, like, 9 devices and, like, ghostwriters writing for me, I don't know how the fuck you do it.
Honestly, it was so hard. Well, Memeamoto, you're young. I think your generation is going to grow up multitasking a lot better than me.
You'd be surprised. I kind of prefer just sitting down and watching the game, you know. But I definitely consider it. You know, I can definitely sit on my phone and, you know, provide some commentary on my story, Twitter, whatever. Sometimes even when I'm watching the games on Twitch.
Well, you're a big Twitch guy. Twitch just fucking goes off. Like, if you want to get into it, woo! It is fucking engagement on blast.
Yeah, it's crazy. I love it.
I think you have to go in and out. I think it's the only way to do it.
Yep.
Chalmers, you're kind of like the anti-Memeamoto. You, like, hate social media. You're grouchy. You're much older.
You're not Memeamoto.
But here's the thing. I'm consuming what people like him do.
Yeah.
I just don't want to fucking do it. And, like, when somebody says to me, you got to be more engaged on social media during the hockey game, my answer quickly now is going to be absolutely not, because it takes me away from the game. I want to engage.
Fair.
I found myself not talking to my 2 kids or my wife that was sitting with me watching this hockey game. And they'd be like, oh, did you see that? And I'd look up and I'd be like, no, I didn't. What am I doing? Why am I focusing so much on talking about a game that I'm watching, which is forcing me not to watch the game, and I'm missing stuff? It's the dumbest thing. And so I just
try the parachute approach next game. Try the parachute approach next game.
In and out.
In and out. One and done.
There's something to be said about that, though, because, like, I'm kind of like that. For the teams I'm a biggest fan of, like, when the Bills have a playoff game, if the Jays have a big game, which hasn't happened for a long time, even a big Oilers game, I don't like going to a bar. I don't like having a big party. Like, for the game on Saturday, my parents were like, oh, we're putting our TV on the deck, like, have everyone over, blah, blah, blah. And I honestly just want to sit on my couch with my TV there and not be disrupted. Like, I'm kind of like that, where I just like being absolutely dialed in. I pull up my phone, I tweet some fucking nonsense during the commercial breaks about, you know, well, like Memeamoto said, add some commentary in, and then go back to it. Like, I'm not big into having 20 people around me talking and socializing while there's a game on. It totally takes away from the experience.
I just tune them out. I go playoff mode, and I just live and breathe every second, and fucking giveaway and power play and penalty kill in playoffs.
Right, because if I go back to the times that I think about, that I remember watching playoffs, like the 2006 Cup run, we would get together at almost the same person's house every day, and we'd all be in it together. And at that point, you didn't live fucking stream or, like, you know, watch a game on Twitter. Dude, like, I prefer to just, like, experience the game with the people that I'm with, whether that's a big or small crowd. I understand how, like, much a brand like Oilers Nation needs that kind of thing. So, and I know there's people that absolutely love it, but I don't.
If, like, I have a couple buddies who are, like, almost similar to me, where when we're watching a game, it is like, shut up and watch it. And that's a little bit better, but, like, I just don't like a lot of background noise. I like listening to the commentators. We're so lucky we have Chris Cuthbert calling these games, because he is a living legend. But I like listening to the game. I like hearing the little stats and all that. I don't know. Maybe it's because I'm an old man at heart, but I just prefer quiet.
I can enjoy the games all the same if I'm with, like, a group of 30 people, or it's just me by myself sitting on the couch watching the game. But, I mean, it can definitely get annoying, especially when I'm kind of streaming the games on Twitch. Like, I look over a chat and then I miss something, you know, in the game. So I definitely get that.
Exactly.
I think that's one of my biggest problems is I don't want to miss anything. You know, if I say something, I want to see the responses, and I want to be able to respond to other people. So, like, I almost focus too much in on not missing something on the Twitch live stream that it totally takes me away, where I need to learn how to basically be able to just selectively go back, throw in a comment, right, and just have some fun with the people, look at it for, like, the next 30 seconds to a minute, and then go back to the game. I believe there's a balance there. I'm an old, grumpy man, and I haven't found it yet.
You're listening to the Real Life Podcast, episode 97. Not only are we brought to you by Japa, but we have another great sponsor, and that's Oodle Noodle. They also do some great work for charity right now. 10% of all in-store purchases are going to a local charity. So here's how that works. You buy some noodles, your stomach is happy, that makes you happy, Oodle Noodle is happy, your community is happy because they donate to charity. How's that for an ad read? Jay, again, you said it on Monday, but what's the charity this week?
We call what you just referred to, your Chuck, the Circle of Happiness.
Yes.
This week we are with the Edmonton Youth. Okay, I'm going to butcher this because it's so long.
Yeah.
Edmonton Youth Justice Committee Society. Nailed it. That is who we're supporting this week. They're a terrific charity helping youth in need that are having issues with the legal system. So great charity. Super pumped to be with them. Check out the video with Terry and I talking about it. And thank you, everyone, for supporting us during these crazy times.
We also have an exciting announcement to make on the podcast. As you know, we like to do this during the hockey season. We like to talk about gambling. And now, Memeamoto, cover your ears because you are not legally allowed to place any wagers.
You're not of age.
Yep.
That's right.
So yeah, Memeamoto, hang tight. We'll add you back into the chat as soon as we're done talking about the Odd Shark, and then we'll get into more of the NHL playoff series. But we're going to be starting something on Monday with Scott Hastings from Odd Shark. Every single Monday, the last sort of 10, 15 minutes of our podcast, we're going to bring in our gambling expert, Scott. We're going to throw questions at him. He's going to give us his advice, what picks he's liking in the NHL games. Maybe I'll even ask him some baseball or NBA questions because I'm allowed to do that. And we're going to become smarter because of it. So I'm excited to do that. We've talked about it for a while, but I'm happy that it's finally sort of materializing here. Jay, it'll be nice to have an expert on to talk about this stuff.
Yeah, I can always use the help because my biggest thing is I always bet with my heart, and that only can take you so far. Mm-hmm. So to have some professional advice would be nice. Now, having said that, I've already gone through Odd Shark, set up my account with Betway, and I have already placed a bunch of bets. So I guess I'll share with him what they are and why I did it, and he'll tell me if I'm an idiot or not.
Chalmers, do you have any money on the Oilers yet?
I don't. I'm going to do it right Friday.
Do it right
on Friday.
To wait.
I kind of like to wait. I don't like to bet too far out because then what I find is that I'll bet far out and then I'll get up to the date and I'll just make more bets because I want to, I don't know, because I'm weird like that.
Well, Chalmers, by waiting, you've just let the Oilers go from 24-1 Cup favorites or Cup odds to 19-1.
I also don't. My bet of choice is not futures. I like gratification in my bet, so I like to bet right before the game and have it pay out after the game, or don't. I don't like winning the cup. That's a long game. I'm too.
Well, it's part of my overall betting portfolio. I'm going Cup, Conference Final, Series winners, and then I'm going to get into the muck. And you're right. I do my game bets day of.
If you want a quick synopsis on what the Oilers are paying out like right now, if you want to bet on them straight up to win the series in 3, 4, or 5 games, a $100 bet will pay you $52 in profit. So you'll get back $152. A $100 bet on them to win it in 3 or 4 games will pay out $220. And that's kind of the way I've been leaning. I agree with you, Chalmers. I've never been big on futures bets, but I've slipped up a little bit for these playoffs. I won a few big PGA bets, so suddenly my bankroll had expanded quite a bit. So
how much money did you make off Tony Finau?
Finau, I had it 80-1 to be the leader after round 1, so that was a good day.
So I have a cousin that bets on golf, and he's very successful at it.
I love it.
He does. Yeah, he bets big money, and I can't bring myself to it because I want to know your philosophy on it, because his philosophy is you bet heavy, like 5 guys to win the tournament, and then after the cut, you bet like another 3 if you have to. If your guys are looking, if you got a 50-50 chance now because a couple guys are not doing so well,
mm-hmm.
But like when you're picking from a field of what could be either 75 or 125, trying to hit on 5 guys, that just seems like it's too long, but the odds reflect that because you get paid out so much if you do win.
So,
you know,
the way I approach it, and I didn't win very much off Finau at 80-1 because I have a system of I sprinkle on them to win, and then I go a little bit on them at top 10, and then I usually hammer top 20 if I like the pick. Because, like, to me, as nice as it is to put a bunch of $5 bets on guys at 100-1 or 70-1 or 60-1, like, it's not usually going to work, and you're just going to end up in the immediate hole until you finally hit one, and it's just not a system I like. So what I do for golf...
It reminds me a lot of roulette, where,
kind of.
you hit one number, and you've got the next 36 rolls, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
To kind of play around with. But if you don't, you're fucked. You can lose it so fast.
Yeah, so what I like to do is a few things. I'll sprinkle on a few winners off the start. The site I use, CoolBet, actually lets you pick matchups. So I usually find a few matchups I like in there. Sometimes I'll parlay a couple of them so the payout gets a little bit better. And then heading into the weekend is when I go hard on my winners. That's when I'll start putting units on because you get a feel for how the guy's golfing. You get a better feel for the course. I'm far from an expert, but I read the experts and what they say. You get a bit of a better feel, and that's when you can go heavier on, if you like a guy at 10-1 and you really like him, I'll bet 10-1 on Saturday. I won't really put a lot on 10-1 on a Thursday kind of thing. But back to hockey, here are the futures bets I got. I got Oilers to win the series in 3 or 4 games. I don't have any on the Oilers to outright win. I'm only taking the series spread. I love this one. Leon Draisaitl over 5.5 points in the series against the Hawks. Like, if the Oilers win it in 4 games, Draisaitl's getting at least 6 points, right?
Dude, that
sounds like easy money.
I don't know. I like it. I think it's good. We'll move on. We'll bring back in Kyler Memeamoto now because we're done with our gambling talk, so he's allowed to participate. Welcome back, Memeamoto. So that kind of brings me to the next topic and the final topic. Again, we'll have Scott Hastings on every Monday to end our podcast. We'll talk about our gambling then. But I wanted to go into some of the other series in the West. We've talked about this on Oilers Nation Radio a little bit. Starting in the West. Obviously, you have Oilers and Hawks. For those listening at home, or for maybe someone on this podcast who doesn't know what the other series are, they are Nashville versus Arizona, Minnesota versus Vancouver, and Calgary versus Winnipeg. I'm most excited for Calgary-Winnipeg. I think that is going to be a hell of a series. I think those two teams will quickly start to dislike each other, and I think the Jets are going to win, so I won't mind watching the Flames lose. I'll start with you, Memeamoto. Out West, what other series outside of Edmonton, Chicago will you have your eyes on?
Definitely Winnipeg Flames. That'll be such a great series. I'm not sure if the Flames are going to get swept, but they're going to get absolutely owned, I think, by the Jets, mostly by Hellebuck. It's going to end like 2-1, 3-1 every single game. Even if the Jets offense goes cold, like Hellebuck is basically the Connor McDavid from 2017 to 2019 for them. Like, he's just that good.
He's their MVP.
Absolutely. He should have gotten some heart votes. I don't think he really did, though.
Jay?
I've said it like 9 times. That series, it's Jets all day. I just think they're more set up for playoff hockey, and they've got a hot goaltender. Like, as Brian Burke said, like the playoffs, NHL playoffs, it should be called goalie. Like, Hellebuck is the X factor there. Plus, they're heavy up front and skilled up front too. So I think Calgary's in trouble.
Chalmers, do you have an answer other than that, or are you going to be locked into Flames and Jets?
No, I'm excited about the Flames and Jets, but I do have a question because, like, I come to you guys for this kind of stuff because I don't want to do the research on my own. When I'm looking on the score, just to see exactly who is all playing, it says for everybody, it says series is tied 0-0, except for, like, St. Louis and Colorado. It says West qualifying round robin.
Yeah.
So they're doing that with Dallas and Vegas.
Yeah. What? You want me to explain
that to me?
Yeah,
please.
They're glorified exhibition games that have seeding repercussions.
Yeah, so St. Louis is like all those top 4 teams in the West are going to play each other. All the top 4 teams in the East are going to play each other. And then whoever has the most points will be the 1 seed. Whoever has the second most points will be the 2 seed, then the 3 seed, and then the 4 seed. So if you're going to want to pay attention to those games because if the Oilers advance, that'll determine who they play in round 2.
Oh, see, that's kind of fun. But so Dallas and okay, yeah, so that's kind of cool. A little round robin between the top 4 teams. I did not know that was happening. So yeah, you get to see Colorado and St. Louis the first game, and then Colorado plays Dallas, and St. Louis plays the Vegas Golden Knights, and then
it'll be good hockey.
Yeah, okay, that will be good hockey. But yes, so the series that I'm looking forward to the most, definitely just Colorado sorry, Calgary and Winnipeg. I don't really give a shit about Vancouver and Minnesota. I mean, who does?
Well, I actually think in that series, I think Minnesota's going to beat Vancouver.
Really?
Oh yeah.
Really?
Yeah, definitely.
What about Arizona and Nashville?
Nashville's kind of a hot tire fire right now. Arizona's kind of a bit of a tire fire right now. So that's either going to bring them closer together or they're just going to shit the bed. So
Darcy Kemper, man, he's one of the best goalies in the NHL. Arizona will win that.
Yeah, okay. I guess they're a bunch of like hardworking dudes, so maybe they've got a chance. Sure. Nashville's good.
Nashville's
but not
solid,
as good as they should be.
I'm surprised you guys are taking Minnesota over Vancouver, man. I think that Canucks team I think they got something going there. They got young.
But the teams were going on 2 different trajectories when the season started.
But that doesn't mean anything. That was 4 months ago. That was 4 months ago.
And Minnesota's got these awesome golf shirts they're all going to be wearing, and they're going to be really bonded and gelled.
I don't know. I feel like the only thing holding Minnesota back from actually being like a top 10 team this year, the whole year, was just goaltending. Dubnyk was awful. I think they had a rookie, Capo Kakinen. He was okay for a few games, and then he dropped off. And they also had Stalock, who I'm not sure how good he did this year, but I know he didn't do like over like a 9-10 save percentage. Yeah. But they do have absolutely one of, if not the best defenses in the league, which I think obviously it doesn't win series, but it can completely shut down the Canucks. And I mean, I'm pretty sure the Minnesota Wild, they beat the Canucks in the season series. Not that it means anything, but it shows that they can shut down guys like Pettersson and Besser and Miller and all the superstar talent they had on forward this year. But I mean, the Canucks really, to me, they have that goalie, Jacob Markstrom. That could take them. Yeah, they could take them very far. It solely relies on him, to be honest.
Yeah, I agree.
Before we head towards the end of our podcast here, because we're getting there, I want to take a look at the Eastern Conference as well. The top 4 teams in the East, for those that need a reminder: Boston, Tampa Bay, Washington, Philly. And then after that, you got Pittsburgh taking on Montreal, Rangers taking on the Hurricanes, Islanders taking on Florida, Columbus taking on the Leafs. It's pretty easy for me to look at the series I'm not excited about, and that's Islanders, Florida. I think that'll be boring as hell. It's a toss-up between Toronto, Columbus, and Carolina, New York. I think I'm going to do Toronto, Columbus. I'm interested to see if John Tortorella can put together a plan to shut down those Leafs. Also, I enjoy the Columbus Blue Jackets. They're the team in the Eastern Conference I always find myself rooting for. Lovable underdogs. I even have that sweet Cannon jersey. So I think I'll be rocking that Cannon jersey a little bit and rooting for the Jackets this year. What about you guys?
Johnny Lunchpail.
Yeah. Jay, I'll start with you. A series in the East you like the most?
Well, there's 2. I think Columbus has a chance to upset the Leafs. Similar situation. Like, I like Nick Foligno as a captain. He plays hockey the way it should be played, and he is designed to play playoff hockey. So, and Elvis Markukis, or however you pronounce his last name, Merzilkin. If he's still hot, like I know you can hit Marner and you can hit Matthews out of the game, and just kind of have them become non-factors. And if they come and play heavy hockey, Josh Anderson's healthy. He's a giant unit out there. I think Columbus has a chance. I wouldn't bet on it, but like obviously I'm so anti-Toronto. I'm cheering for Columbus just because of that, but I actually think Columbus has a chance. And then the next series, and it's only because I'm interested in where I think this team has got a chance to like go far, and that's Carolina. Carolina.
Say that.
Yeah. Well, I put money there. 40. I got them at 45 to 1 to win the cup.
Huh.
Like you just got it because the odds are so insane. But I don't know. They had a good showing last year, and some of these young guys, like Aho, Teravainen, like they've taken a step. Their defense is solid. And Dougie Hamilton's healthy, so their only question mark really is their goaltending. So I think I'm just interested to see how they'll do, and like what better playoff final. There's two playoff or Stanley Cup finals you'd want. You'd want Edmonton, Toronto, and Edmonton beating Toronto, obviously, or Edmonton and Carolina for redemption. So
that's true.
There's the storyline.
I kind of agree with you. I'm definitely looking most forward to Rangers versus Carolina. It's kind of like unstoppable or immovable object versus unstoppable force. You know, you got Artemi Panarin, all the great forwards they've got on the Rangers, but they have an absolutely garbage defense, like bottom 5 this year. And then you have Carolina, who's kind of got a similar offense and one of, again, if not the best defense with Pesce guys like that. But they have, I want to say, the worst goaltending in the league this year. Even though they put up respectable numbers, they're both backup goalies who played with amazing defense and didn't even put up starting numbers, right?
Yeah. So goaltending is going to be huge. But so if a goaltender shows up and it's just, if it's like if it can become like a top 15 goalie in terms of performance, I think that's all they need to try to make a run.
Yeah, I mean, it's the playoffs, anything can happen. And I mean, both those goalies definitely have potential to do something.
Blackhawks won 2 cups. Well, I don't know if it was 2 cups with Miami, or one, but they won a cup with Miami. It wasn't that great.
I'm in the process right now of setting up our Oilers Nation podcast and friends playoff pool. So what do you guys think we should do here? Should we just do the hosts on the podcast? Memeamoto, since you're in on this podcast, you can hop in on the pool. Should we just do that, or should we open it up to a few listeners?
What's the format? What's the format?
It's going to be box. You're going to have to click boxes. So like
each box has people in, yeah.
Let's do podcast and friends. But
really?
let's keep it tight. You know.
So should I do first 10
Brett
people?
Kissel, Sam Gagne.
You want to do like that? I don't. Sam Gagne.
I agree. Actually,
I'm saying that it should be like us. Obviously, Surveyor Brett, if he wants in. Obviously, Stepanko. Electric guys some of the guys that were in the fantasy.
Alan Kramer.
Football. Alan Kramer, definitely Alan Kramer. And then, I mean, throw it out to like Jordan Buhat and Brett Kissel, and they might be in, right?
They should be in,
And do a podcast and friends. I think that would be the best way to go. Maybe cap it at like 20.
Okay, so
but
what
deep down inside, we'd want everyone to join. Mm-hmm. It's just the administration of having everyone is a nightmare because we're a low budget podcast.
Yes. Okay, so that's what I'll do. I'll set the entry limit to 20, and we'll get all of us in. And then if you want in, here's what you got to do. DM one of the either Real Life or Oilers Nation Radio and say, right when you hear this, and say, I want in. And what we'll do is the quickest people to DM, I'll put them in a list, and I'll pick randoms. So you got to DM me, we'll say by the end of today. So you got to be a date, like as soon as the podcast drops, you got to be one of the people that's listening. By the end of the day, I'll pick names out of a hat. A couple lucky listeners will get in as well. Sound good?
I love it.
Good idea.
Mm-hmm.
Jay, can we do anything? Like, can we give the winner like a free Nation gear or something or other?
Oh yeah. We'll put together a decent prize pack for sure.
A nice bunch of Oilers Nation beer. Except for if Memeamoto wins, he can't have it.
Yeah.
Whatever we're legally allowed to do. Too
damn young. Give it to your dad as a little present for letting you live in his house.
I'm excited for when Memeamoto. I'm excited for when you can make your appearance at the first Oilers Nation party, Memeamoto. It's gonna be a big day for everyone.
Oh, yeah. I mean, to be honest, I don't think I'm planning on drinking anytime soon. I mean, I can't.
Oh, hey, yeah. Good call on the podcast. You don't need to get shut down.
Not even on your 18th birthday. You don't want to see a little tiny ticker up in the top right corner of OilersNation.com. That's just a little tiny thing, but it counts down the minutes and the hours until Memeamoto's 18.
That's actually hilarious. No, that'd be amazing. Yeah, you know what? That'd actually be great.
There you go.
Well, when's your birthday? How many months? So you don't say. What are we talking here?
I'm thinking right now. 9 months, April. Yeah.
Oh.
God, call us when it's 6 or 4.
Yeah, we'll get you back on the
next playoff run.
We'll get you back.
Leave a ticker in there.
All right. The last thing I want to do. This ties into our betting thing a little bit. You'll be able to make your picks in the pool as well because there's an option. Instead of goalie, you can pick a team. I saw this floated out on Twitter, and I'd love to see or have your guys' opinion on it. The odds to win the Stanley Cup. There are some interesting long shots there. So right now, the biggest long shots, and I'll rattle them off. Try to remember these in your head. But I'm thinking 20-1 or better. So you got the Hurricanes, Islanders, Panthers, Predators, Flames, Jackets. Those are all around 24 to 34-1. Deeper than that, you got the Canucks at 39-1, the Rangers, Coyotes, Wild, and Jets at 49-1, and the Habs and Blackhawks at 74-1. And I'm not going to frame this as a gambling question per se, but just which one of the long shots do you think maybe has the best chance of actually going on a run and winning the cup? I'll start with you, Chalmers. You look like you were listening very intently.
I was, and because I know what Jay's going to say. He's going to say the Hurricanes. Because, even without you telling him those odds, he thinks that out of the East, they have a chance. And I
locked him in at 45-1. Thank you.
Yeah, that's pretty good. Of all those teams, who has a chance? My God, it's hard to argue with JR. When I heard all the names, I'm really quite surprised by the Jets, considering how deep they went just a couple years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Blue line's changed a lot.
You know what, dude? A lot has changed. I know. I would have to go with the Carolina Hurricanes with JR.
Memeamoto?
I'm going to have to go quite the opposite. I think I'm going to bet on the Rangers. Legally, if I could,
Yeah.
I like that.
Because, they've got three goalies who are I'd say two. They have two goalies who are absolutely capable of putting on a run that could win them the cup. Yeah. And not just that, they have way more talent, even at forward. And at defense, they look shaky the whole year, but they were definitely trending upwards with guys like Adam Fox and Libor Hayek. They're coming into their own this season.
Trouba.
Yeah, Trouba. He looked terrible, and then now
they're two young goalies. This will be their first playoff experience. So I think you gotta lean in with the King to see if he's got any jam for the playoffs.
Shesterkin was crazy in the KHL playoffs, though. I gotta say.
Well, Mikko Koskinen was a lights out goalie in the KHL.
Yeah. Jay, which long shot do you like? Are you going with Canes?
Canes outside of that, I would probably, if I was going outside of the Canes, and I had to take one of these teams, I'd probably go Preds.
If Pekka Rinne plays well, maybe. They got a nice blue line, too.
Maybe, yeah. He's a wild card because he hasn't been good for a while.
To piggyback on Memeamoto's sentiment, there's really only one storyline that's left for an old player who hasn't won anything in this league right now.
It's Lundqvist.
That's in
the playoffs.
Like Henrik Lundqvist. Yeah, that's in the playoffs. That's what So my heart, when you guys were talking about Hurricanes earlier, and I knew Jay was going to say it, I was thinking, man, I would like to see the Rangers go far. Because when Messier went to the Rangers, they were my second favorite team because Messier was my favorite player. Yeah. And when they won in '94, I was like, they were strong contention for my favorite hockey team, but could never beat the Oilers. And I've always had a love in my heart for Hank. And I think I'm going to go with Memeamoto now. You give me $100, I put him on the Rangers with my heart over my brain.
I would.
Right. I think whoever comes out of that series is going to go all the way to the finals, to be honest.
They could. For me, it's the Jets. I think Connor Hellebuck's too good. I think he can single-handedly steal you a best of 5. I think he can give you a great shot to win a best of 7. If guys like Laine and Ehlers really get going, they have great scoring depth. My pick is the Jets. But it's going to be fun twice a week doing this podcast and actually having games and shit to talk about. It's going to be unreal. I'm excited. I know everyone listening to this is excited as well. Before we wrap up, should let you know, they're the playoff design, right? That's what we're calling them?
The playoff can design.
The playoff can design is out now. So make sure if you're of age, go pick those up. Get your drink on during the playoffs and party responsibly. Big shout out to Oodle Noodle. Big shout out to Japa as well. Love everything Japa does. Thank them for being a great sponsor of the pod. Memeamoto, thanks for giving us an hour of your time, man. Appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks you guys for having me on. Let me rant and stuff.
It was great.
Yeah, it was nothing better to do. Let's be honest.
Yeah, come on.
Hey, I mean that's true. That's
17
true. That's
years old, man. I don't even know what I was doing at 17 years old. You have a job?
No.
Twitch is his job.
Instagram.
I love it.
Being a meme lord.
Be like Nick Merckx, man. Get that money.
All right. Well, this was a meme-worthy playoff preview, I think is what I'm going to call it. Jay Chalmers, thanks for giving me an hour as well. Appreciate it.
Thanks, guys.
boys.
Enjoy Saturday, Oilers fans. We are, by the time I drop this podcast, I think we'll be about 43 hours away from Oilers playoff hockey. Enjoy it. Episode 197 of the Real Life Podcast is over.
Great job on making it through the entire hour of the Real Life Podcast. Don't forget to like and subscribe wherever you get your podcasts from.